George Herbert Walker Bush, 1988 to 1992. He was the president that presided over the final end of the Cold War and the dissolution of the Soviet Union. And he tried to get us as a country to have a conversation about what globalization 2.0 would be. The idea is that we have this alliance, the greatest alliance in human history, that just led the world in a bloodless war in the nuclear age. And I don't think today we really appreciate as how just cataclysmic it could have been and how lucky we were that turned out the way it did. And so Bush's idea was, let's take what we have, let's take what worked and recast it and change the circumstances. And so instead of doing this to counter the Soviets, what if we do this to improve the human condition? And we make conditions of participation with globalization about free enterprise and human rights and minorities, and we take the world into a fundamentally new age and break the wheel forever. And Americans weren't interested, so we went for Bill Clinton.
We went for what?
Who was Bill Clinton, who was much more narcissistic, much more economically nationalist, and then Bill turned into W, and W turned into Obama, and Obama turned into Trump, and Trump into Biden. And at each step, we moved further and further away from that aspirational goal. And in doing so, countries that are less than friendly were able to take advantage of the system as it remained, and that gave us internationally wired Russia of today. That gave us the Iran of today. That gave us the China of today. And needless to say, those are systems that the United States really doesn't see why it should bleed to preserve them. Look at the price tag for Ukraine. About 70, almost 80% of the stuff that we have sent are our decommissioned military assets, things that we consider too low tech to even transfer to our other allies. We were going to just blow them up.
Yeah, but it's $250 billion. So you're saying it wasn't really money, it's just equipment?
If you look at what we paid for it, yes, it's $250 billion. Yeah. But it was actually going to cost us money to dispose of it. So the Ukrainians are actually doing us a budgetary solid.
Come on, man. That's
no, seriously.
Goddamn. If I did that economics, somebody would say, "Hey, you just did the Louisiana trickery."
We're in the equivalent of giving them an old Commodore 64.
Okay, so we're not helping them. You're saying we're not actually helping them.
We're helping them hugely because what the Russians have is worse. Yeah, when this conflict started, Ukraine functionally didn't have a military at all. So now they have kind of what they call a petting zoo military.
Why do we put a value on it at all? Why don't we just say, hey, we just gave them some goods that we needed to get rid of, and it's not worth $1 trillion?
That's a question for the folks at the Congressional Budget Office. They put a dollar value on everything. Now, there is cash. About 10% of what we're giving is ammo, which we have another use for, obviously, and about 20% of it is development assistance. But the Europeans give a lot more of that than we do.
Okay. Now,
go
ahead.
Let's say it's all real cash, and it really has been $250 billion.
Yeah.
Rebuilding Atlanta would cost a lot more than that.
Rebuilding what?
Atlanta, or Chicago, or Baltimore.
But we're not rebuilding our cities, man.
No. You're missing the point here.
Okay.
If we get into a direct fight with the Russians in Poland, they will throw city flattening nukes. That's what we have to prevent.
Are you saying that Russia, you believe in my lifetime and yours, we will see Russian nukes in the air?
If the war moves beyond Ukraine, absolutely. Yeah, we're fighting this war the cheap way right now.